Hello everyone, here's your Southeast Idaho weather hazard and impact briefing for Tuesday, September 24th. We're going to have a couple of dry days here across eastern Idaho. It will be on the breezy side, but it will be dry. We have our first system coming in. It looks like it's starting to come in a little bit farther to the north and maybe a little bit later in the day on Thursday. By the time we get to our big storm system, it is still coming, but it looks like a lot of the cold and wet weather, the coldest and wettest weather, is delayed at least 24 hours. And the big question is it going to be cold enough for some rain and snow even down into the lower elevations of the Snake Plain? We continue to watch moisture moving in across the area. It's in the form of clouds. No precipitation expected for today, and you can see the pattern, how it's setting up. We have a ridge developing over the Pacific into the Pacific Northwest, and that's that dry northwest flow moving across our area. How does that look? We talked about a little bit of a breeze today. As we go into this afternoon, you'll see those breezes ramping up. By the time we get to around mid to late afternoon, some areas across the Snake Plain will see some gusts in the 25 to 35 mile an hour range, maybe a little higher once you get in the mid upper slopes of the Central Mountains, maybe closer to 35 to 40 miles an hour in a few places. Those winds quickly ramp down once we get past sunset. Now, our storm system, we've been talking about this wave coming through, and you'll notice, we'll back this up here just a skosh, and you'll notice going into Thursday, a little ripple in the pattern here. That's that system coming in. That system's not dropping as far south as we thought, and it's also coming in later in the day Thursday. So it's mainly going to impact us Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. And what does that mean? An increasing chance of precipitation with that northwest flow. That's going to favor the sawtooths up into the Central Mountains, the western side of the Central Mountains, generally west of Highway 93. Also into the Island Park area, the Big Holes, Driggs, back over into the Tetons and Yellowstone as well. This is not going to be a big precip maker. We're talking maybe a tenth in the higher elevations of the Central Mountains, maybe a tenth to 2/10 in the higher elevations of the Eastern Highlands, but otherwise very light precipitation is coming our way. Now, here's how our pattern still looks to evolve, set up as we head into the weekend, and you'll notice as we go through time, that low sets up. Now, we talked about it being delayed, and the reason why, here we are by Saturday, the low is setting up farther to the west initially. That's going to allow us to be a bit warmer heading into the first part of the weekend. Well, also what is going to happen, that's also where it's going to put the main band of precipitation on that south and east side of that low going into Saturday. This trend will continue into Sunday, and eventually by the time we get into Monday, that storm system is going to be over the top of us, shifting the better precipitation to the east, but it's also going to bring in the coldest weather by the time we get to that particular period. And here we are into Monday, that low starting to shift over our area. Now, still not trying to get too specific on precip numbers, but it looks like right now the southern and eastern highlands, maybe even along the 84, 86, 15 corridor in the Snake Plain, some of the lower elevations could see a half an inch to an inch of rain through the whole event. This is not per 6 or 12 hours. This is for the whole event. 1 to maybe 2 inches in the higher elevations of the southern and eastern highlands. Could it be higher? Certainly. Some of the data that we look at, we talk about ensemble data. Instead of giving you a single number, looking at a range, and some of those ranges are ranging anywhere from maybe a quarter to a third of an inch to maybe up to over 2.5 inches in those areas. But right now, we could say easily over an inch of precipitation in the higher elevations of the southern and eastern highlands. Farther west, precipitation is a little more spotty. A lot of times when you're underneath the center of a system like this, you don't get a lot of steady precipitation. You get more showery precipitation. So amounts over the Central Mountains, over into the Magic Valley, could see a half an inch to an inch in some areas, but I think the better precipitation is over the southern and eastern highlands. Let's take a look at those temperatures. It's going to be warm until we get to the latter half of this week. Temperatures this afternoon, well into the 70s again across the lower elevations. We're staying pretty close to where we should be for this time of year, not too far off for tomorrow. Now, with that system being delayed on Thursday, it's going to be warmer across portions of the Snake Plain and the eastern highlands. We may be pushing closer to 75, 78 degrees across portions of the Snake Plain instead of cooling down like we've been talking about for Thursday. Now, Friday we will cool down, but we're still running 2 to 3 degrees warmer than we were forecasting 24 hours ago. Saturday, this actually, now get into this with the bit better cloud cover and moisture, we might be running a little too warm on Saturday and Sunday and into Monday as well. And interestingly enough, look at these temperatures by Monday morning, and this is going to be similar for Tuesday morning. Temperatures pretty close to freezing in the Snake Plain. So if we have precip around, we may not see just rain at the lower elevations. And afternoon highs Monday and Tuesday in some places, we're got some low 50s in there. That may be too warm. We may not get out of the 40s across the Snake Plain. So once again, dry and breezy through the period, at least through tomorrow night, Thursday morning, and then we'll start to see things changing, but some things are delayed, especially with our big storm coming in for the latter half of the week. If you have any questions, please give us a call here at the office. You can always email us if you have questions as well. Have a great day out there, everyone, and do stay safe.